Jake's phone buzzed on the kitchen counter, but it wasn't his notification. The sound came from Emily's phone, left face up while she was out at another work event. He ignored it at first, stirring his coffee, but the screen lit up again. A voicemail notification. Curiosity tugged at him. He tapped the play button, and a man's voice, smooth, too familiar, filled the silence. "Hey, Em. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Same spot, right? Miss you already." The call ended with a low chuckle that made Jake's stomach twist. Who was this guy? And why was he calling his wife Em like they shared secrets? Jake, 32, and Emily, 30, had built what seemed like a solid life in their Seattle suburb. Married 5 years, they had a rhythm. Jake coded late into the night as a software engineer, while Emily, a marketing coordinator, charmed clients with her quick wit. They hiked the Cascades on weekends with their golden retriever, Max, and hosted game nights with friends. Jake prided himself on small gestures, grabbing Emily's favorite oat milk latte or planning spontaneous drives to the coast. Fidelity wasn't just a promise. It was the foundation of everything he valued. So that voicemail hit like a crack in a dam, threatening to flood his trust. He stood frozen, replaying the message in his head. The guy's voice wasn't a stranger's. It sounded like Ryan, a co-worker Emily mentioned casually, the funny guy from her office. Jake had met him once at a company picnic, all smiles and handshakes, but nothing raised alarms then. Now, every word from that voicemail gnawed at him. Why was Ryan calling at 9 p.m.? Why the intimate tone? Jake shook it off, telling himself it could be harmless. Emily was at a client dinner, after all. She'd texted him earlier about it. But doubt crept in, sharp and relentless. When Emily got home an hour later, Jake was on the couch, pretending to scroll through his phone. She kicked off her shoes, chatted about a stressful meeting, and grabbed a glass of water. Her usual energy fell off, her laugh too quick, her eyes avoiding his. "How was your night?" she asked, leaning against the counter. Jake shrugged, forcing a smile. "Quiet. You." She launched into a vague story about a demanding client, her words tumbling too fast, like she was filling the silence to keep it from betraying her. Jake nodded, but his mind was on that voicemail. He didn't mention it. Not yet. The next day, Jake worked from home, his focus shot. Emily left for the office early, saying she had a big presentation. He tried coding, but his thoughts kept drifting. He opened their shared location app, something they use for safety on late nights. Her dot was at her office downtown, steady. He exhaled, feeling foolish for doubting her. But by noon, the dot moved. Not to a client's office or a lunch spot, but to a hotel in Belltown. Jake stared at the screen, his pulse quickening. Maybe a meeting? A conference? He texted her casually. "Grabbing lunch soon?" Her reply came fast. "Swamped at work? Eating at my desk." The lie stung. He checked the hotel's website. Upscale, boutique, the kind of place you don't book for a quick meeting. Jake's instinct screamed to call her, demand answers, but he held back. Confronting her without proof could backfire. Instead, he dug deeper. He checked their shared credit card statement online, scanning for anything unusual. There was a $189 charge from the same hotel, dated 2 weeks ago, on a night Emily claimed she was working late. His hand shook as he cross-referenced her text from that day. Nothing but a quick running late, don't wait up. He felt sick, the pieces clicking together too perfectly. That evening, Emily suggested watching a movie to unwind. They picked a drama about a couple navigating infidelity, the kind of plot that usually sparked light debates. As the cheating spouse on-screen begged for forgiveness, Jake couldn't resist. "Could you ever forgive that?" he asked, keeping his tone neutral. Emily paused, staring at the screen. "People mess up, Jake. Doesn't always mean it's over. You can move past it if there's regret." Her words were calm, but they carried a weight that made his skin prickle. "Regret doesn't fix trust." He shot back, sharper than intended. She shifted, tucking her hair behind her ear, a nervous habit. "Sometimes trust needs work, not ultimatums," she said, her voice tight. The air between them crackled, the conversation no longer about the movie. Jake didn't push further, but her response echoed in his mind. It felt rehearsed, like she'd thought it through before. Over the next few days, he noticed more. Emily's phone was always face down now. Her passcode changed from the one they used to share. She laughed off questions about her day, deflecting with stories about annoying coworkers or tight deadlines. At a friend's barbecue that weekend, Ryan showed up, all charm and easy jokes. Emily gravitated toward him, their banter too familiar, her hand brushing his arm once too often. Jake watched from across the yard, his beer going warm in his hand. When Ryan left, Emily's mood dimmed, her smiles forced for the rest of the night. Driving home, Jake took a chance. "Ryan seems fun," he said casually. Emily's grip on the wheel tightened. "Yeah, he's hilarious. Keeps the office bearable." Her answer was too quick, too polished. Jake let it drop, but his suspicion hardened into resolve. He needed proof, not just for himself, but to face whatever truth was coming. That night, while Emily slept, he ordered a small audio recorder online, set for express delivery. The plan was simple: let the evidence speak. If he was wrong, he'd bury the doubt. If he was right, he'd face a reality he wasn't ready for. But he wouldn't back down. The tiny audio recorder arrived in a plain package, and Jake's hands trembled as he hid it under the passenger seat of Emily's car. That night, she came home late again, claiming a client dinner ran long. Jake nodded, his face a mask, but his mind was on the device now, silently capturing her world. By morning, he'd know if his marriage was a lie, or if he'd misread everything. The weight was torture, each hour tightening the knot in his chest. What would he hear? And could he handle it? Jake, 32, had always trusted Emily, 30, his wife of 5 years. Their Seattle life, coding projects for him, marketing pitches for her, weekend hikes with their dog Max, felt like a shared dream. But that dream cracked with a flirty voicemail from Ryan, her co-worker, followed by lies about her whereabouts and a hotel receipt that didn't add up. Now, with the recorder in place, Jake was stepping into a role he never wanted. The skeptic, the investigator, chasing a truth that could unravel everything. The next day, Emily left for work, her usual cheery, "See you tonight," ringing hollow. Jake waited until her car disappeared down the street, then retrieved the recorder. His laptop whirred as he plugged it in, the audio file loading with agonizing slowness. The first hour was mundane. Traffic sounds, Emily humming to a podcast. Then a call. Ryan's voice crackled through. "Em, you free this weekend? I booked her spot again. Room 312. Emily laughed, soft and intimate. "You're bad." "Yeah, I'm in. Just gotta keep it quiet." Jake's been observant. Jake's breath caught. Observant? She knew he was watching. The conversation shifted to plans, dinner at a tucked-away bistro, a cover story about a work trip. Emily's tone was casual, like this was routine. Jake replayed it, catching a detail. Ryan mentioned Sarah getting nosy. Sarah, Ryan's wife. Jake's anger flared, but so did a spark of strategy. If Sarah was suspicious, she could be an ally. He opened LinkedIn, found Ryan's profile, and traced Sarah's name to a private Instagram. Her posts were sparse, mostly hospital shifts and book quotes, but her bio confirmed she was married to Ryan. Jake hesitated, then sent a message. "Hi, Sarah. I'm Jake, Emily's husband. Can we talk? It's important." Sarah didn't reply for hours. Jake spent the day distracted, his coding sprints interrupted by flashes of Emily's laugh on the recording. At 4 p.m., Sarah responded. "Coffee shop on 5th, 6 p.m. I think I know why you're reaching out." The bluntness startled him, but it fueled his resolve. He arrived early at the quiet diner, choosing a corner booth. Sarah walked in, her nurse's scrubs wrinkled from a long shift, her eyes sharp but tired. She didn't waste time. "You heard something about Ryan and Emily, didn't you?" Jake nodded, laying out the voicemail, the hotel receipt, the recording. Sarah's jaw tightened, but she wasn't shocked. "I've known for months," she said, sliding a folder across the table. Inside were screenshots, text between Ryan and Emily, flirty emojis, coded meetup plans. One photo showed them at a bar, Emily's hand on Ryan's knee, time-stamped 3 months ago. Sarah had found a hotel key card in Ryan's jacket, dated the same night Emily claimed a team retreat. "I'm building a case," Sarah said, voice steady. "Divorce is coming, but I need proof he can't dodge." Jake's stomach churned, but her calm focus grounded him. They agreed to share evidence, a pact forged by shared betrayal. Back home, Jake kept up appearances, cooking dinner while Emily rambled about a crazy day. Her phone buzzed constantly, and she angled it away, claiming it was work. Jake's mind raced. Every smile felt like a lie, every touch a betrayal. He checked their shared app again. Her location pinged at the office, but he didn't trust it. On impulse, he drove to her workplace after hours, parking across the street. Her car was there, but so was Ryan's, unmistakable from the company picnic. They emerged together, laughing, heading not to their cars but toward a nearby hotel. Jake gripped the steering wheel, resisting the urge to follow. Instead, he planted another recorder in Emily's purse that night, hidden in a zipped pocket. The next morning, it captured a hushed call to Ryan, Saturday's set. "I told Jake I'm visiting my sister. He won't suspect." Jake's heart sank, but a new detail hit harder. Emily mentioned another guy from a conference last year, a fling she called a mistake. The revelation stunned Jake. One affair was devastating. Two felt like annihilation. He dug into her email, something he'd never done before, and found a deleted thread with a man named Chris, full of suggestive banter from months ago. The betrayal wasn't a slip, it was a pattern. Jake's resolve hardened. He texted Sarah, updating her with a new recording. She replied instantly. "Found a receipt for room 312, same hotel. Let's meet again." The tension was suffocating, but Jake felt a strange clarity. He wasn't just chasing proof now. He was reclaiming his truth. Saturday loomed, the day of Emily's sister visit. Jake planned to tail her, not to confront, but to document. He rented a car to stay discreet, his hands steady despite the storm inside. Whatever happened next, he'd face it with eyes wide open, ready to dismantle the life he thought he knew. Jake's rented sedan idled across from the Belltown Hotel, his eyes locked on the entrance where Emily and Ryan disappeared minutes ago. The recorder in her purse was running, but Jake needed more, irrefutable proof to end the lies. His heart pounded as he gripped his phone, Sarah's text flashing. "I'm here too. Room 312. Let's do this carefully." The stakes were sky high. One wrong move, and Emily could slip away, spinning more stories. Tonight, Jake wasn't just a husband. He was a man hunting the truth, no matter the cost. Jake, 32, and Emily, 30, had built a seemingly perfect life in Seattle. But her secret affair with Ryan, her co-worker, shattered that illusion. A flirty voicemail, a damning hotel receipt, and audio recordings confirmed their ongoing betrayal, with hints of another fling in Emily's past. Jake's alliance with Sarah, Ryan's wife, had uncovered texts, photos, and plans for a weekend getaway. Now, on the night Emily lied about visiting her sister, Jake and Sarah were ready to catch her in the act, their shared pain fueling a calculated plan. Jake parked discreetly, his rented car blending into the busy street. Sarah waited nearby in her own vehicle, her nurse's instincts keeping her calm but focused. They'd agreed. No confrontation tonight, just evidence. Jake checked his phone. Emily's location still showed the hotel, confirming the recorder in her purse was their best shot. He texted Sarah, "In position. You got the key card?" She replied, "Yes. Hotel staff owed me a favor. Meet me at the service entrance in 10. Jake's pulse raced. This was it. The moment to expose the affair or lose his chance forever. At the service entrance, Sarah handed him a duplicate key card for room 312, obtained through a contact at the hotel. Her face was set, no trace of doubt. "We get in, check for anything they left, get out," she whispered. "No scenes." Jake nodded, his jaw tight. The elevator ride felt endless, each floor ticking up the tension. At the door, they paused, listening. Muffled voices, Emily's laugh, Ryan's low murmur, came through. Jake's stomach twisted, but he swiped the card. The lock clicked, and they slipped inside the empty room, the couple's absence a stroke of luck. The room was tidy, but telltale signs screamed guilt. A half-empty wine bottle, 2 glasses, Emily's scarf draped over a chair. Jake spotted her purse on the bed, the recorder still hidden inside. Sarah moved fast, snapping photos of the scene with her phone. Under the bed, Jake found a receipt for the room, booked under Ryan's name, dated today. Sarah pulled a small notebook from her bag, logging every detail like a detective. "This'll hold up in court," she muttered. Jake's hand shook as he retrieved the recorder, its red light still blinking. They were out in under 3 minutes, hearts pounding, but mission accomplished. Back in his car, Jake played the recording. Emily's voice was clear. "Ryan, this feels so right." Jake's clueless. "He thinks I'm in Tacoma." Ryan chuckled. "Sarah's too busy with her shifts to notice." "We're good." Then a bombshell. Emily mentioned Chris again, the conference fling, saying she cut contact, but he keeps texting. Jake's blood ran cold. The affair with Ryan wasn't just a betrayal. It was part of a web, with threads stretching back months, maybe years. Sarah's eyes narrowed as she listened. Ryan lied to me about Chris too, she said. They're both playing everyone. The recording cut off as Emily and Ryan returned to the room, their voices fading. Jake and Sarah drove to a nearby diner to regroup. Over coffee, Sarah revealed more. She'd hired a private investigator weeks ago who tracked Ryan's movements to this hotel multiple times. The PI had emails, Ryan and Emily planning trips, using work as a cover. One email mentioned a gift Ryan bought Emily, a bracelet Jake never saw her wear. Sarah slid a photo across the table. Emily at a bar, wearing the bracelet, Ryan's arm around her. The timestamp was 6 months ago, long before Jake's suspicions began. Jake's anger surged, but Sarah's calm kept him grounded. "We've got enough," she said. "Recordings, photos, receipts. My lawyer says it's airtight for divorce. What's your move?" Jake leaned back, the weight of it all crashing down. Confronting Emily now might spark denials or tears, but he needed answers, not just about Ryan, but Chris and any others. He decided to wait, to gather one final piece of evidence. "Tomorrow," he told Sarah. "I'll talk to her, but I need to know how deep this goes." The next day, Jake tailed Emily to work, watching her meet Ryan in the office parking lot. They didn't touch, but their glances were too familiar, too practiced. He followed at a distance as they drove to a cafe, where they sat close, laughing over coffee. Jake snapped photos from his car, his hands steady despite the ache in his chest. Back home, he checked Emily's laptop, left open on the counter. A deleted email folder held a message from Chris, dated last week. "Miss you, Em. Call me." Jake forwarded it to himself, his resolve stealing. The confrontation was coming, and he'd face it armed with every truth she'd hidden. Jake sat across from Emily at their kitchen table, the weight of his evidence, recordings, photos, emails, burning in his pocket. Her smile, oblivious to the storm about to break, felt like a blade. He'd spent weeks unraveling her lies, affairs with Ryan and Chris, hotel receipts, stolen moments. Tonight, he'd confront her, not with anger, but with cold, hard proof. The clock ticked. Each second tightened the noose around their marriage. Would her confession break him or set him free? Jake, 32, and Emily, 30, had once been a perfect Seattle couple, coding late nights for him, client pitches for her, shared hikes with their dog Max. But a flirty voicemail from Ryan, her co-worker, led Jake to recordings, hotel receipts, and an alliance with Sarah, Ryan's wife. Their raid on room 312 exposed Emily's affair with Ryan and hints of another with Chris. Photos, texts, and emails painted a web of deceit. Now, armed with undeniable truth, Jake was ready to dismantle the life he thought he knew. Emily walked in from work, chatting about a new project, her voice light, but her phone clutched tight. Jake waited, letting her settle, his calm masking the chaos inside. "We need to talk," he said, his tone flat. She froze, her smile faltering, and sat across from him. "What's up?" she asked, too casual. Jake slid his phone forward, playing the room 312 recording. Her voice intimate with Ryan, planning their getaway, mentioning Chris. Her face drained of color. "Jake, that's not," she started, but he cut her off, tossing printed screenshots on the table, texts, the bar photo with Ryan's arm around her, the email from Chris. "Stop," Jake said, voice steady. "I know about Ryan. I know about Chris. I know about the hotel, the bracelet, the lies." Emily's hands shook as she scanned the evidence. She tried denying it, claiming the texts were misunderstood, that Ryan was just a friend. Jake played another clip. "My body's yours, Ryan. You know that." Her eyes widened, trapped. Silence stretched, heavy and suffocating. Finally, she slumped, tears welling. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this," she whispered. Emily confessed, her voice breaking. The affair with Ryan started a year ago, sparked by late-night work sessions and his charm. She felt seen in ways Jake, buried in code, hadn't made her feel. Chris was earlier, a conference fling she swore ended quickly. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she said, reaching for his hand. Jake pulled away, the sting of her words, blaming his work, his distance, cutting deep. "You built a whole life behind my back," he said. "Not just one affair. 2, maybe more." She shook her head, insisting it was only Ryan and Chris, that she'd lost control, felt trapped by guilt. Jake's phone buzzed. Sarah, texting. Filed for divorce today. You okay? He ignored it, focusing on Emily's tears, which felt more like fear than remorse. I can change, she pleaded. We can fix this. But Jake saw no regret in her eyes, only panic at losing their comfortable life. He stood, grabbing his backpack. Love doesn't survive lies, he said, echoing a truth he'd clung to since the voicemail. He walked out, her sobs fading behind the door's sharp click. He drove to a modest hotel, rented a room, and sat in the dark, replaying her confession. The pain was raw, but so was his clarity. The next day, Sarah met him at their diner, her folder thicker with new evidence. Bank statements showing Ryan's payments for hotel rooms, a credit card charge for a trip Emily never mentioned. My lawyer's ready, Sarah said. Ryan's got no defense. Jake shared his confrontation, the weight of Emily's double betrayal heavy. Sarah nodded, her own pain mirrored in his. You don't have to fight her, she said. Just walk away clean. Jake agreed, contacting a lawyer to start divorce proceedings. He wanted no battle over assets, just freedom. Emily's texts flooded in, apologies mixed with excuses. I was lonely. You were always working. Jake didn't respond. He moved into a small apartment, the lease a symbol of his new start. At work, he threw himself into coding, the logic of it a refuge from chaos. Friends noticed his quiet resolve, asking no questions. But Emily's shadow lingered. A coworker mentioned seeing her with Ryan at a cafe, still bold despite the fallout. Jake's anger flared, but he channeled it into action, sharing his evidence with Sarah's lawyer to strengthen her case. One night, checking his email, Jake found a message from Emily's sister, Claire, apologizing for her silence. I didn't know, she wrote. She's spiraling. Moved out, quit her job. Jake felt a pang, but no urge to reply. Emily's choices were hers to bear. He met Sarah again, who revealed Ryan's attempt to spin the affair as casual. Her lawyer shredded it with their evidence. He's done, she said, a faint smile breaking through. Jake felt a flicker of hope, not for revenge, but for justice. He was ready to close this chapter, to rebuild without the weight of Emily's lies. Jake stared at the divorce papers on his new apartment's kitchen counter, the final signature line glaring like a finish line after a grueling race. Emily's lies, her affairs with Ryan and Chris, exposed by recordings and receipts, had shattered their Seattle life. Now, months after walking away, Jake faced a choice: sign and move on, or let the pain linger. A text from Sarah, Ryan's wife, buzzed. Court's done. We won. Victory was close, but would closing this chapter heal him or leave scars that never fade? Jake, 32, had unraveled Emily's, 30, double life. Her year-long affair with co-worker Ryan and a past fling with Chris, through voicemails, hotel receipts, and a covert hotel room raid with Sarah. Their alliance, forged in shared betrayal, amassed texts, photos, and recordings, leading to Jake's confrontation and move to a new apartment. Sarah's divorce case against Ryan was airtight, and Jake's own proceedings were nearly done. Emily, now jobless and isolated, had sent apologies, but Jake's trust was gone. This final act would test his resolve to rebuild. He signed the papers, the pen steady despite the ache in his chest. His lawyer, a no-nonsense woman named Karen, had streamlined the process. No fights over assets, just a clean split. Jake wanted nothing tying him to Emily, not even the house they'd shared. He dropped the documents at Karen's office, then drove to a park overlooking Puget Sound, needing air. The city's hum felt distant, his thoughts on the life he was leaving behind. A call from Sarah interrupted. Ryan's settlement is final. I got the house, half his savings. You holding up? Jake exhaled. Signed today. It's over. Sarah's victory was a beacon. Her evidence, hotel receipts, texts, their room 312 photos, had crushed Ryan's denials in court. He tried, claiming Emily pursued him, but the judge saw through it. Sarah, now free, was starting a new nursing job in Portland. You should visit, she said. Fresh start. Jake smiled, her strength a reminder he wasn't alone. Back at his apartment, he found a letter from Emily slipped under the door. Her handwriting, once comforting, now felt like an intrusion. He hesitated, then opened it. Emily wrote of her shame, her move to Spokane, her therapy to fix herself. She'd quit her job, cut ties with Ryan, and swore she'd never meant to destroy them. I hope you find happiness, Jake, she ended. No plea for forgiveness this time, just resignation. Jake set the letter aside, unready to respond. Her words stirred no warmth, only a dull ache for the woman he thought he knew. He texted Sarah instead, updating her. Burn it, she replied. You don't owe her closure. He didn't, but he kept the letter, a reminder of lessons learned. Days later, a co-worker mentioned seeing Emily at a bar, alone, looking lost. Jake shrugged it off, refusing to let her shadow pull him back. He threw himself into new routines, early morning runs, mentoring a local coding boot camp, dinners with friends who'd stuck by him. His apartment, small but his own, became a sanctuary. Books on the shelf, Max's toys scattered. At the boot camp, a student's question about debugging sparked Jake's first genuine laugh in months. Healing wasn't linear, but it was happening. A final curveball came via email from Claire, Emily's sister. She's struggling, Claire wrote. Not asking you to fix it, just thought you should know. Jake appreciated the honesty, but replied briefly. Thanks. I'm moving on. Claire's response was kind, wishing him well. It struck Jake that the ripple effects of betrayal touched everyone, friends, family, even strangers. He met Sarah one last time at their diner, now a symbol of their shared fight. She handed him a USB drive with their evidence. For your lawyer, just in case, she said. Jake nodded, grateful for her foresight. The divorce finalized quietly. Emily didn't contest, signing away their shared life. Jake sold their house, splitting the proceeds as agreed. He donated Emily's leftover belongings, books, a forgotten scarf, to charity, each item a step toward release. At the park again, he sat on a bench, watching ferries glide across the sound. A couple nearby laughed, their ease a reminder of what he'd lost, but also what he could find again. Trust, he realized, wasn't just given, it was earned, and he'd never settle for less. Jake's phone buzzed, a boot camp colleague inviting him to a tech meetup. He accepted, feeling a spark of purpose. Emily's betrayal had broken him, but it also freed him to rebuild stronger. Sarah's win, his divorce, the truth they'd uncovered, it all pointed to a simple truth. Love without honesty was a house of cards. As he walked back to his car, the city lights brighter than before, Jake knew he was ready. Not for revenge, but for a life where truth was his foundation, and no one could take that away.